Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Welcome everybody. This is Nurul Aziz, welcoming you on behalf of Madam Bibirhat Shahjahan Online School. I am an assistant teacher English, Krishna Kumari City Corporation Girls High School. My dear students and those who are watching my today's class, I am very grateful to all of you. And if you don't mind, please share this class today as many as possible, and it will help all of the students like you to get this class, to reach this class. And if you have a questions regarding my today's class, please you can ask me, or you can write down on the comment box without any hesitation. So best of luck for you, for all of you. And first of all, we'll have a warming up questions, and you see in the picture, question number 1: have you ever visited any island or seen any island on TV? Yes, we have an experience of visiting islands. All Some of you might have experience of visiting an island, or you have seen any island on TV, on any cinema, or in any scenery or any picture at least. If you Have you ever heard of a coral island? Definitely you have heard about Coral Island. We have a coral island in our country. What is the name of this island? This is Saint Martin. Saint Martin is a coral island where you can get corals. What do you know about the Maldives? There is the question. What do you know about the Maldives? Maldives is an island country where there are lots of coral islands. So our today's lesson is like this. You have some questions, some pictures you see. These are very familiar to all of you. You see these pictures frequently. So these pictures belong to the Maldives. This is an island country. There are thousands of islands in this country. So let open at lesson 3 unit 6. This is the picture. This is the picture of flag of the Maldives. After the end of the lesson, you will be able to infer the meaning of the text. You will be able to discuss about the location of the Maldives. You will be able to tell about the history of the Maldives. You will be able to describe the natural beauties of the Maldives and ask and answer questions and complete a table and identify true or false statement. At first, we will learn some vocabulary or phrases related to this text, and the first one is coral reef. Coral reef. You see, coral reef means there is an ecosystem in underwater, especially in the sea, characterized by reef building corals. Reef building corals. Actually, coral means small animals that are built up regularly in a very nice flowery shape. So we will have discussion about the corals later. Idyllic. Idyllic means a very nice to look. There is a pleasant or peaceful picture of anything means idyllic. Tranquil or pretty, very nice to look at. You see in the picture, a nice picture, a nice scene, natural beauty. Tsunami. Tsunami, is a natural disaster. A very high wave is caused by an earthquake underwater. So a long high sea wave caused by an earthquake is called tsunami. Remember the spelling. Set sail is a phrase verb. Set sail means to start a journey or a voyage in the sea. This is called set sail. You see, The picture, lagoon. Lagoon is related to an island. Lagoons can have fresh water, ocean water, or brackish water. Brackish water is an interesting word. You see, that has more salt than fresh water, or less salt than ocean water. It's called brackish water. Please remember this word, brackish water. Atoll. 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 Atoll means a coral island that surrounds a part or whole lagoon. And coral, we have discussed about it. You see, corals are colonial animals that lives in a colony. They are made up of hundreds of tiny animals, tiny, very small animals called polyps. Called polyps. So now we will discuss the key sentences from this text. I hope you have the English for Today book at hand, and please read this text yourself, and while you are reading, I am going to discuss the key focal sentences from this text because this is a long reading text. So the first one is the Maldives is the smallest Asian country with respect to population and size. It is the 8th smallest country in the world with an area of 300 square kilometers only. So you see the picture of the Maldives, and this is an island country in the Indian Ocean. There are thousands of islands. You see the buildings in the capital of the Maldives. So look at this carefully. Only 300 square kilometers. The Maldives. The Maldives are clustered around into 26 major atolls. You see, major atolls, we know about atoll. There are 26 major atolls in the Maldives. The Maldives is a famous tourist destination because of its enjoyable weather, heavenly beaches and lagoons, luxurious holiday resorts, and beach-loving people. The people in the Maldives are very beach-loving, and there are enjoyable weather, heavenly beaches and lagoons, luxurious holiday resorts. That is why people love to visit Maldives very much. There is a mention about this in the text. In 1344, Ibn Battuta, a famous Arab historian and a scholar, traveled around the Maldives. He traveled around the Maldives. Ibn Battuta, there is an imaginative picture of Ibn Battuta, and there is a postcard related to this event of Ibn Battuta's visit. And you see a picture where sailors are setting their sails, and in the 12th century AD, sailors from East Africa and Arab countries came to the Maldives. Sailors from East Africa and the Arab countries came to the Maldives. These are related to the history of the Maldives. The Maldives is well known for being the lowest country in the world. Unfortunately, this small country with idyllic natural beauty is under threat from rising sea levels due to global warming. There is a threat of global warming in the Maldives, that it will be flooded away by sea water in near future. During the tsunami of 2004, many of the island's dry parts were flooded by water surrounding the island. there was a tsunami caused in 2004, and you see people losing their houses due to tsunami. And again, we have a very interesting event here. The government of the Maldives held a cabinet meeting underwater in 2009. This is very interesting to see. The government of the Maldives tried to focus this threat of global warming in this country, in this island country. They wanted to highlight these things, that we are underwater, we are under threat of global warming, and please do help to by reducing the emission of carbon in the atmosphere, so that we can live in our own country. So they wanted to draw the attention of the international community. That is why they held a meeting, cabinet meeting underwater in 2009. There is a mention about this in the text. So we have discussed about the text. These are the key points of this text, today's text. So if you read this text fully, then you will know other things from this text. I hope you will read this at home. So let's have a look at the history of the Maldives at a glance. First one is 4th and 5th century BC. The early inhabitants of the Maldives arrived and settled from southern India and Sri Lanka. In the 12th century, the sailors from African and Arab countries started to settle in the islands. Buddhism was replaced by Islam there. In 1344, Ibn Battuta, a famous Arab historian and scholar, visited the Maldives. In the 16th century, the Portuguese occupied the Maldives. In 1887 to 1965, the British ruled the Maldives. In 1965, Maldives became independent from the British rule. And in 1968, end of Islamic Sultanate and was replaced by a republic and assumed its present name. So these are the key historic events in the Maldives. So let's go for evaluation. We have 6 questions in the text at page 82. Please look at the questions and try to answer this, and please have a look. First one is, what is an atoll? We discussed about an atoll. This is a coral island that surrounds a part or a whole lagoon. Please write down it, and if you read the text, you will have this answer easily. How many countries in the world are smaller than the Maldives in size? Okay, there are 8. Maldives is the 8th smallest country in the world. So you see, there are 7 more countries in the world smaller than the Maldives. When was Islam introduced in the Maldives? We have information about this in the text. In the mid 12th century, Islam was introduced in the Maldives. Then question number D. What makes Maldives an ideal place for the tourist? We have discussed about this in the text, that pleasant weather, heavenly beaches and lagoons, luxurious holiday resorts, and beach-loving people make the Maldives an ideal place for the tourist. So these are the easy things as we have discussed about it. And the last 2 questions are, what dangers of climate change might affect the Maldives? What dangers of climate change? The Maldives is just 1.5 meters above sea level, with the highest point of only 2.3 meters. So this is very low in comparison to other countries of the world. So there is a prediction that the specialists predict that the Maldives might be swept away with the rising sea level. If the sea level rises, then Maldives will be washed away, swept away. So this is the dangers of climate change that might affect the Maldives. Do you support the idea of having a cabinet meeting underwater? What could be the reason for holding such a strange meeting? So we have discussed about this. Yes, of course, we all support this kind of um, exceptional attention drawing meeting. So we can write down like this. Yes, I do support the idea. And the reason for holding such a strange meeting is to highlight the threats of global warming to this low-lying island country, so that world community can come forward to save this island country. So we have come to the conclusion of the today's lesson, and I hope, though this is a very long passage, but if you read it at home closely, and if you try to understand the lesson as I have discussed, I think it will be more easier to you, and you will find it interesting to answer from it in when you have a question in the examinations. So, my dear students, we have two more sections here in this lesson, that is in page number 83. So, to save our today's time, we are not going to discuss these two things, but you can easily answer, or you can easily complete these two sections, and you will do it at home. So, I am assigning these two sections for you as a homework, and in this is in question section D, complete the table with no more than two words or numbers. So if you follow this class, you can easily do this. And in section E, you see, say if the statements are true or false. Give the correct information in case of a false statement. So I hope you will do it at home, and that will help you to understand this lesson easily. My dear students, hope you are staying at home safe and sound, because this is not a time to come out of the house and the schools are remaining closed. So my dear students, please practice as much as possible at home and follow our online classes, and thank you very much for your time.